Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought another fantastic group of independent comic book publishers. And please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And don't forget the Oswald Chronicles, currently running on Kickstarter right now. Link in the show notes. And there are plenty of more great books that we're going to look at later. All the links in the show notes. And without further ado, let's bring in this guy.
Good evening. No, you don't like it? You don't like
No,
it?
not really. No.
What are you talking about, bro? Halloween is never over. You know what I mean? Spooky life is the way to be, bro.
Dude, it's like 3 weeks ago, bro.
So what? 3 weeks ago. You know, you got to live it. You live in the life, bro. It's all about All Hallows Eve and Days of Souls. And okay. You got pasties on. You got pasties? Okay.
I got my books for Magi's Grace. That's what I'm trying to show you.
Oh, was that Halloween themed? Was that horror inspired?
It's horror inspired, yes.
Yeah.
And yes, and look, nice sparklers.
Yeah. Oh, that's a pasty going. You know, the pasty looks a little weird on the bottom. It looks like you're trying to hide King Dong down there. You know, I'm just saying.
No, but yeah.
It's nice. It's shiny. And hey, guess what, Streamland? This wasn't planned, if you're going to tell, right?
Exactly.
This was the setup. This was all off the cuff. Isn't it amazing?
That's right. What's up, Randy?
Hey.
Hey. For our Coco host is Mr. Randy.
Am I Coco host? Wow.
Yes,
all
sir.
right.
Way to blow the intro, dude. You know what I mean? Wow,
Well,
man.
I had to bring in the rational one, you know.
Is that what it is? All right. Fine.
Randy, he's calling you rational?
Yeah, there you go. Randy Zimmerman, Arrow Comics, arrowcomics.store, HeroBot Zero, Arrow Comics, all sorts of stuff.
All right, cool.
That's the introduction.
We're going to our first guest. What's up, Ted?
Hey, how's it going?
Yep. So, Ted, introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah, Ted Sikora. I am actually from Hero Tomorrow Comics. ClevelandSuperhero.com is just a link to our Kickstarter page. But we have 4 different titles, and Apama, the Undiscovered Animal, was our first. Within that, we introduced the Tap Dance Killer. She's a mega talented actor who gets cast in a horror show musical as a tap dance killer. Then there's a supernatural event, locks her permanently in the role, and she starts wiping out the mafia. In that book, we introduced this guy, heavyweight boxer, who becomes this super-powered murderous clown named Punchline. And now he's in his own series that continues the saga of all of our characters. And the other one we did was a spinoff of Apama as well, Bloom, which was the origin of our hippie-trippy psychedelic Regina. And right now, we just funded a few days ago on Punchline 1 through 3, which we introduced this new character, Violante the Undead. And I'm the writer, creator. I do coloring and lettering on all of our stuff.
Nice. I wish I could color. Anyway.
You wish you could letter.
It's easy to
I
learn.
can letter, bro. I seen your stuff.
Hard to master. Yeah.
You know, it's not that hard. There's a book. What's up, Dan?
Happy Halloween!
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan.
Let me get my costume on. With my phone booth. Oh, forget it. I'll just go like this. Have no fear. I am here.
There you go.
For all the kids out there. Some of us may not know that.
So, Dan, introduce yourself. Dan, introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Dan Sehn, publisher, Argo Comics, and our Thunder Zone imprint. I've been publishing for about 18 years now, and actually have a Kickstarter going, but all in due time. We'll get there.
All right, cool.
Hi.
Karissa, how are you?
Good. I'm Corissa Grant with the Worthy Chaos Comics. I have been doing comics for 1 year and 20 days, and I have 10 issues that have been released and 2 that are done that are not released yet. I'm here for my hardcover, which is issues 1 through 7. It's book 1, and it's 222 pages. And issue 8 launches January 8th, and we'll start book 2.
Cool. So, Karissa, I will let you know officially your title of newbie has been stripped from you. You're no longer that. Okay, so
Bummer, I liked it.
done with that one. 12 issues, hardcover. No. Oh, big leagues now.
Halloween was my 1 year, so yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
Hell yeah. What's up, everybody? I'm Jeff Schiller. I make magic powder and another series called The Elf with No Name, which is a spin-off Western of Magic Powder. Currently, we're doing Kickstarter for issue number 5 of Magic Powder. And that's pretty much it. I've been doing comics like 2 years, a little more than that. And it's been going pretty well so far. I just write them, though. I don't do any of the art or the lettering or the colors or anything.
I thought you were saying you had magic powder. I was like, what does it do?
Oh. You got to read the book to find out, but yeah. No.
Nice. All right, Jeff, it's been a minute, bro. It's been a minute.
Yeah, hell yeah. Glad to be back.
Yeah, glad to have you. What's up, Phil?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. So Phil Russert, owner and writer for Philbo Publishing. We have like 5 titles that have been produced. Our flagship title is Tragedy. We just wrapped up the campaign for the Collected 5. Which did really well. We did over 10,000. And right now we currently have Diary of Dread, which is a 156-page horror anthology. I wrote 5 of the stories as a 10-page 6th story by Marvel writer Charles Santino. And it's basically in the vein of the old EC Comics, Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horrors and stuff like that. So it gets back to the nitty-gritty, the gore and violence and some grounded stories that I think are scary because stuff that could actually happen. So that's going right now.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
all right.
the good stuff.
The good stuff. Nice. All right. So, everybody's seen the title. Are you cut out for this indie comic life, right? So my question is do you see new creators? Do you think they're better prepared than we were when we first stepped into this? In comparison to yourselves, right? Do you think new creators are better prepared for this indie life than when you first stepped in? Let's start. Prepared. Yeah, well, hey. Let's start out with Mr. Phil Russert.
I mean, I think it depends on the individual. How much research did you put in before you jumped in? It also depends on, is this a hobby on the side you do for fun, or are you trying to make it a business and a career? But I think with the internet at our fingertips, crowdfunding at our fingertips, and so many people doing this now that can help you and share with information, I think people they have a good idea about it as far as the crowdfunding part of things and doing it on that level. When it comes to distribution, I think a lot of people need to educate themselves more, though. I don't think they really understand the nuances of distribution, the finances, who's getting a piece of the pie, what the roles are, and just how difficult it is. But I do, just real quick, and I'll stop, is the thing about distribution is that is not structured for you to make money unless you get into high print runs, but it is structured for you to gain a following if you stick it out and you can survive the storm. Crowdfunding is where you have a better chance at making that dollar, but the growth of a following system is very difficult right now, especially with a saturated Kickstarter and big names that started in distribution that came over to Kickstarter and brought their fans with them.
All right, cool, fair enough. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I've only been doing it, like I said, like 2 years. So I think, I've been doing it less than everyone here, except maybe like Karissa, but she's already further ahead than I am. So she knows what's up. So that kind of answers that question in itself. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, it helps that there is a bigger crowdfunding audience right now, I feel like, than there ever was. So that alone kind of helps. But like Phil said, it's all a matter of the person and how they prepare and stuff like that. And another big thing is like, your artists and your letterers and everybody like that, your cover artists, like how good are they at keeping deadlines, stuff like that? Because another thing about keeping your audience is a big part of it. Because like Phil said, you got to build the audience. Then you got to keep these people happy because like otherwise they'll just go fund someone else's book. So that's a big part of it too. So yeah, but I think overall, I mean, I personally love this whole like setup. Like I love not having to go through a publisher to make my comics. I love that kind of thing. I already have a pretty decent following on social media, and that's kind of what helped out. But even that's kind of like dwindling in certain cases too, like with Twitter and stuff. So
all right, cool. Dan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'd say the younger generation right now is better prepared. Starting out back in the day, I had to go to our friend David to figure out how to do this thing, and then I go to you to figure out how to get things in print. So now you have a lot of online resources where you can gain that information. Second advantage to the newer creator is that they have grown up in this virtual cyber world, and they speak fluently in all the like social media. Like I still like kind of live in the real world, like get off the computer sometimes, head to the gym, do my thing. They're like living for those likes and it's like the virtual existence that maybe the prior generation of creators we've acclimatized ourselves to it and everything, but it's not like an integral part of our being, this life on social media, and that's really beyond the comic conventions. That's really where this comics market and crowdfunding and everything is taking place. So the familiarity with how to live in that world, I think, does give a new creator a good advantage. But beyond that, the business sense, the marketing and everything like that, just as Phil had mentioned, and it's more towards gaining that knowledge over time.
All right, fair enough. Karissa, what are your thoughts? I mean, you're relatively new. Like I said, shift your new title for me. You're no longer new.
Yeah,
you're relatively new. So, what are your thoughts?
So I would say that it's definitely easier now. Mostly, I got lucky because of everyone that helped me. I came into this with the stupidest phrase ever: "Is how hard can it be?" And it's the hardest thing I've ever done. So yeah, that was stupid. But there is, what they said. There's a lot of research online. I didn't even know Kickstarter was a thing until someone's like, "Oh, do Kickstarter," and I was like, "For what?" Like I had no idea. So there was a lot of research. I was not smart enough to do any of the research. I was just like, I want my story to be a comic, and then I made it. But I think there's definitely more research available. And I think with social media, as much as I kind of hate social media, it's really what got me to the information. I mean, everyone kind of took me under their wing and was like, here, this is what you do, kind of thing. So I think as much as I never really liked social media, it's really what helped me to get more research, and now all those people that helped me aren't making them anymore. So I don't know. But they helped me. So I would say it's a lot easier now than a lot of people back then that didn't have the social media or the following or the Kickstarter or anything like that. So I think it's definitely easier now than back then. So plus digital artists now, it's a lot, you can get your stuff a lot quicker and a little bit cheaper because there's no original art. So I definitely think there's a little bit easier now. Not easy, but easier,
All right, cool. Fair enough. Ted, what are you thinking?
So there's really the two sides of it is the art side and the business side. And if you have the artistic side, like, it doesn't matter if you're making money at it, you have to tell these stories. You are going to tell stories because you want to tell stories, and nobody's going to ever be able to stop you if you have this artistic drive to make something that you want to make. And that's where it has to, really it has to start with that. And then comes this business side. And, that's where I think there's a lot of disconnect where you can be all in on the art side, but if you don't balance it with the business, I agree with the group. There's a lot of great opportunities now that weren't out there before, yet the competition is, and I mean, not maybe competition is not the right word, because I don't feel like we're often competing with each other, but the saturation of so many other projects, and just not even comic book competing for the dollars, but it's movies, it's video games, and so to me, if you just have a drive to make your story and you show it to the right people who are going to be honest with you about it and give you a chance to revise things to make it better, so that when you release it, that it's really actually good. There's a quote I'm reminded of about, is it hard to make a living as a jazz musician? And it's like, only if you're really great, otherwise it's impossible. I think comics is, making your living at comics. I bet a lot of us have sort of a side hustle. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's great opportunities now. And, hopefully it's always the art that drives it.
All right, fair enough. Randy, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I agree with everybody here. Yeah, when we jumped in, it was a completely different ball game. The whole business has evolved in about 4 different ways since then. And right now, it's the easiest and literally, I think, the best time to get into alternative and independent comics. But research has to be done. Absolutely has to be done. You have to know what you're doing before you step in, or you're going to make some very costly mistakes. And even then, you're going to stumble around and make mistakes. It's just going to happen. So, but you're asking if the people coming in now are better than the people coming in then. It's all, as Ted says, everybody's got a drive to tell stories. The people that are here are driven in that direction to tell their stories, and that's really what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, not so much better.
Tell stories and be read. Better equipped. Yeah, because it's so much easier now. You're not dealing. Back when I first started, yeah, we were drawing on this paper stuff, this broad Bristol board instead of digital. And
leather. What are you talking about, Randy?
Yeah. We had to rule lines in order to letter within the lines all the time. And it drive people crazy. You had to learn how to
Ames lettering guide. Jesus.
The Ames lettering guide, yeah. Sometimes you actually used a brush to ink stuff, It's just nowadays it's all digital and you can do it in probably half the time. So yeah, it is, but it's just tools to get the job done too. And if it saves a little time, all the better.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I agree. Everybody probably has a side hustle in order to get by, because they're making a living living off of it. I mean, you can pay bills and stuff real easy, but actually in modern society, you need health coverage, you need insurance, you need all of this stuff. And, thank goodness most of us have spouses or somebody with a solid health insurance. I know I couldn't do this without the help of my wife and her steady employment and her health insurance. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Jay?
All right. Let me answer the thing that developed besides your question first. You need a side hustle or to make this your side hustle, right? If you're going to survive in the real world out there. I know, Dan had a first hustle. I'm 20 years into my first hustle, right? That's what pays the benefits. But how many older creators have we heard of that are depending on the kindness, right? The heroes fund, right, to help them out today.
Yeah.
Creators took teaching jobs, right, to help them, right, get some of those benefits, right? Whether it's SVA, this college here, what have you, while doing comics. How many do we know that were writing comic books and still worked on the sales team or the marketing team of whatever respective publisher they were also working at? That's stuff that a lot of creators.
Christopher Priest driving a bus.
Yeah.
Fabian Nicienza was he sold ads for Marvel, right? And he was writing New Warriors and X-Force on the train home at the end of the day, right? For those of us that have had, I don't want to say luxury, because Dan, I don't know about you, I don't know about the others, but my day job of 20 years, I fought it tooth and nail. So it's not like I was happy doing it, right? So I can't say it was a luxury, but I know it protected the me of the future. So that way, once my pension comes in, I can do this full time. Now, for your question, Calderon, I think the tools and the information are out there for someone to get into this without losing their shirt the way so many of us had lost it when we first got into this. But I think from what we said last week, there's a transition happening in comic books right now. More distributors, more crowdfunding platforms, less shops to sell the product, right? Where Comixology is finally rolled into Kindle last week, so there's a vacuum there. What's gonna fill that void? I don't know. So there's this transition coming. So I feel, there's a transition coming, and that playing field is going to be even out real soon, man. No matter how much experience you got, there's gonna be a reckoning coming up soon, I think.
If I could just jump in on what Jay said, comics is always in a transition. You're always seeing comics evolve constantly. It's just being flexible enough to deal with those transitions is what's going to keep you a long-standing, especially in the indie market.
Right. Well, I mean, how many publishers from the 80s and the 90s no longer exist, right? That would be considered independents today, right? That would be considered great sellers today, and folded doing 40 and 50,000 units a month.
But also, how many great IPs, how many great creators are nobody even knows? You mentioned Elf Lord to somebody, 3/4 of the folks aren't going to know what you're talking about. You mentioned Fish Police to somebody, even Love and Rockets. Nobody's going to.
Well, it's the entertainment
it was a
industry
what?
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And entertainment, whether it's movies, TV, comic books, prose books, it's always in flux.
Yes.
Because, demographics change, generations change, tastes change. Just look at genres. The zombie genre is huge, and then all of a sudden it can sell a book, whatever. And then you go into vampires, and then you go into Cthulhu, and then you go into, whatever the flavor of the month is. It's like a candy store. Entertainment's like the candy shop. Today I want a Snickers, tomorrow I want a Three Musketeers. So you have to be able to be flexible and be there. Someone had said to me once, yeah, but, be there at the right time. Okay, well, how do you do this? It's simple. Always be there.
Right. So just like what Ted said, right? Stick to what you're doing. Because eventually the cycle will come back to what you've been putting all your eggs into.
It's like fashion. The bell bottoms come back, or it always happens.
What? Fuck, I got rid of mine.
I think it is like Ted said. It says keep to the art.
Yeah.
Right? If you're always keeping to the art, you're always keeping to your story, keeping to the thing that brought you to the dance, right? You will always maintain. I mean, sometimes you'll have lean times, you'll have the fat times, so on and so forth. But you just got to keep at it. I know for myself, I started in the late 80s, early 90s, and I mean, if you weren't printing 3,000 books, you weren't printing. You understand? It was offset. You didn't have a choice. We didn't have POD where I could print 10 copies. You understand? Where I could do an alternative cover and print 5 copies and be like, all right, well, here you go. These are $20 each, and I made $100. Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
No, I had to print 3,000 copies of one book. Maybe I could get a printer to split an order and like give me 2 different covers on a book, but I was still printing 3,000 books regardless. So I mean, you had to be dedicated even more dedicated at that time, because you had to go out there. And I lived at the time with my parents, and we had an extra spare bedroom because my brother moved out, and that's what I used for storage. But they didn't want to see all these boxes in their house, so I had to move. Thankfully I had a crew with me. I had about 14. There were like 14 of them. No, there were like 8 or 9 of us, and we were all selling the books. And I mean, and it was cool. But you got to be dedicated to the cause, or else you're just not going to make it. But I do feel, to answer my own question, I do feel with shows like this and many other shows and just the information online and all the books that have been written, I do think newer creators do have stand a better chance to make it. But they have to understand that they should have a day job to make sure that, you know, they can at least live their lives, because you don't want to just go into this and be like, hey, you know, I'm just going to live off of somebody else's dime or whatever, because you're just going to end up broke and sad.
I'm just gonna get sugar mama.
Well, yeah, that helps too.
Yeah.
That helps too. That definitely helps too. Yes. You know. All right, Mr. Rosario,
Yeah.
what do you got? What's your question, sir?
Oh, we gotta ask questions.
Yeah, man.
No,
You do-
yeah.
you
All
do
right.
the same.
Keep it in line with the whole thing of, you know, being ready for this. Are you ready? Are you prepared for the day you're no longer here and what's going to happen with your IPs or your titles, whatever you want to call it? Right? Do you have something set up, a plan for when you are no longer walking among us? Or are you going to let, you know, happenstance take it?
All right. Jeff, you're up. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. That's kind of a hard one, I would say. Overall, I would say, like, say one more. Repeat the question for me, Jay, real quick, just so I know.
All right.
exactly.
So whether whatever titles you're working on, right?
Okay,
Whatever
I see what you're saying. So you're saying after I die, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything set right now. I never.
Whether
you know what I
even
mean?
if it's like, do you have something set up for somebody to complete the story you're telling?
Right.
Or stories that you want to tell?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything set up like that now, but I guess if I was gonna die or something, I would probably, or I had any kind of like inclination of it or anything, I guess I would have it like set up for my sister to take over, you know. But then it's like she's not that much younger than me, so if it's an old age thing, that won't really help. But other than that, I guess that's who I would, you know, if you had like a will for it or whatever, I would pass the rights to her and let her just do what's up, you know.
Okay.
All right. Fair enough. Dan, what are your thoughts?
I'm probably going to be like Christopher Silver and Silver Wolf and Greater Mercury. Like, you know, he stopped at some point and pretty much there wasn't enough popularity in the books that people are, you know, running over there to try to make or will in the future try to make like a public domain grips title, being that there just wasn't enough popularity. You never know, though. I mean, once these things enter in the public domain and there is a fan out there who discovers it, I don't have anything particularly set up, and I haven't, as of yet, accomplished Will Eisner's spirit type of recognition where people would say, you know, I got to write new stories about these characters. So I don't realistically seeing anything happening at that point, but you know, that always remains to be seen.
Okay.
All right, cool. Karissa, what are you thinking?
Well, I wasn't thinking about it before, so now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, So-
go depress the paddle, why don't you, Jay?
well, I'm like trying to think like, okay, so all of 45 issues are already written. And all the scripts are, I'm halfway through the script. So I'm gonna have to finish the scripts and then like have a living will that my life insurance goes to finish the series or something. I don't know. Like I hadn't really thought about it, but yeah, my husband's gonna think it's over when I die, but I'm just gonna make him keep going. So all my money goes directly to my artist. Keep going. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know.
I like that. All
right. Ted, what are your thoughts?
So my daughter's kind of into this stuff with me, and even as far as like being the assistant editor, you know, she's the first person who looks at all the pages with me when they come in, and you know, I run dialogue by her. She definitely knows the world real well, and yeah, I'm grateful to think that, you know, I certainly want her to carve out her own path in life, you know, and not be feel like this is some burden on her, you know, but that would be an option. I think that she could, you know, carry on the stories after I'm gone.
Okay.
This is a very morbid episode. Well,
Very morbid.
a very morbid Halloween episode of
There you go.
Indy Comics Explained.
Yes, thank you, Jay. Phil, what do you think?
Parental discretion is advised.
I mean, legally, everything is covered as far as, copyright, trademark. And, obviously I'm nothing big right now, but depending on what the situation is when I croak and if my wife's the one who did it, she and the kids inherit it. Now I have 60 something scripts written, so they have material to continue if they so choose. If there's any equity in the business that they could sell off, that would be their choice. I'd be probably ashes in a toilet bowl and wouldn't know at that point. But I just left it. It's in their hands to do what they decide if they want to carry on some sort of legacy. But as far as IP control, it's with my estate. It's with my family if I am no longer there.
Good.
Randy.
Somebody's thought of it. Not that morbid, everybody. Somebody's thought of it. Thank you.
There we are.
Randy, what are your thoughts?
It's it may be morbid, but it is important. 2 years ago, I died twice on the respirator, and had no affairs in order. Everybody was scrambling because of the silly COVID restrictions and stuff. They all thought I was dead for 3 days there for a while, but everything's in order now. I'll tell you that. The IPs, the properties I've got will probably cease with me, but they're the print rights. The daughters know how to continue from there. The library is now we're trying to catch up because I've got a nice amount of books that heck I bought when I've been buying comics and collections and all that since I was a kid. And now all of a sudden this stuff's worth some money. And it's like, holy crap, really? I'm showing this stuff off on Comics by Night on Indy Comics Network early on Friday mornings, and going back up on eBay and looking at this stuff I'm buying, $9.95 or $19.95, $300 now, $400 now. And I'm just stunned. So I sit there with we have a system made up to let the daughters know if something happens to us, not to sell the books for pennies on the dollar,
Right.
But other than that, the comics and the IPs, wherever they go, we're going to throw a big, hopefully if they go with my wishes, they're just going to throw a big party and give them away. So, and then the daughters will be in charge of the IPs, or the wife if she survives me. So, yeah. But we've got all that written down now legally, so that type of worry isn't going to happen again. So it's a good thing, and I recommend everybody do that, and no matter how old they are, get your affairs in order.
Yep.
On that, your IPs are definitely worth some money, and you don't know how much. You'll never really know the true value of what you've got or where it can go. So don't take that chance.
Right.
That's my recommendation.
Right.
All right, cool.
Calderon, you prepped?
Well, see, the thing is like I'm prepared for you, because if anything happens to you, I'm gonna approach your wife and I'll have at least $10 in my pocket.
There you go.
And I know I'll be able to get the entire catalog.
You're overestimating, buddy.
That's why it's important for your spouse to know, or at least have an idea of what your stuff's worth. So,
Yeah.
there was a guy who collected classic cars, and his family was like, "We don't want this.
We don't want this shit."
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll be honest. I think Daphne and I have like joked about it. She would be like, "Yeah, it's gonna take me, forever to like translate your scripts and get artists and whatever." And I was just like, we'll see what happens. I mean, look, no guarantees. My grandfather lived till he was 96, so I'm kind of hoping to get up there. But listen, my main goal right now is to finish, and then once I'm done and I have my omnibus, whatever happens after that. I mean, it's
Just
like
one.
Well,
Just one.
Just
Calderon Master Omnibus, huh?
Yeah. Well, there'll probably be like 5 or 6 of them, but
there you go. Yep.
Just to have the library, and it's just all right. There it is. Fuck it,
At the very least, my family have plenty of toilet paper if there's another shortage.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just don't get it wet, or you'll have the imprint of my characters on your ass.
Well, here it is. It's worth more than light tea for my grief. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll take it with the IPs. Are probably outrageous money I spent making comics, but I'll be dead, so she can't kill me. Yeah.
That's true. Once they start to look into the books and be like, what? How much money he spent? Yeah.
Yes.
So,
That's what I'm more scared of. Forget about deleting my IP history. Delete my expense account.
My wife takes everything after me. Yeah.
yes, exactly. So Jay, what are your thoughts on your own question?
Well, first, the casket is going to be made out of all of my offset printed books. Right? It's just gonna
Nice.
Is it gonna look like a giant comic box and just have the lid that comes down?
Exactly.
Yeah. A SKU number on the side of it, and then the inside is going to be lined with everything I wrote, so that way it can be haunted by reading my own shit the rest of my life. I can't believe I put that on fucking paper. Why would I do that?
You're literally going to be slabbed.
Yeah. Yes.
So when you die, Jay, I'm going to give you a 9.8.
There we go. We'll get you professionally graded.
Then we're finally worth something.
With a remark.
Finally.
With a remark. We're going to draw a dick on your forehead.
But no, story wise, things are set up. People know where they excuse me, this is supposed to go. But yes, hopefully they can flip a buck off of it. If not, then it is what it is. But I hope I am my husband are funny. Thank you, baby. Hopefully they can flip a buck off of it. I really do. But if not, then it'll go into the world of PD.
It all depends on how you come back graded. That's all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Look, I'll be able to pick it up for $5, bro. Nice.
She said 19 a second ago. God damn it.
Yeah, the price keeps going down. As time goes on.
Oh boy.
Exactly.
At least I know I won't be killed for the money I make off the comics. I'm not gonna worry about that.
And you know what? And that's exactly the plan, right?
Yeah.
I know a comic store owner that cheated on his wife and ran off with his girlfriend, and the wife came into the store and had literally a blowout sale. You can just come in and pick up comics for 5 cents a piece.
Nice.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, nice for
All right,
everybody.
what do we got? Let's talk about this.
Punchline.
The debut of Violante.
So Ted, do you want me to play this video?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's very quick. It's like 20 seconds.
All right.
Okay, cool. Hold
on. Play the video, buddy.
It's coming.
Play the video.
Just hit the button.
It's coming.
Hit the button. The tolling of the bells.
Yes.
Takes a while to warm up. You're having a hard time getting those hamsters to run the wheel?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's a play button down there in the lower left.
On the streets of Cleveland. Hero Tomorrow Comics is debuting
Violante, the Undead.
Get the new issue or the entire acclaimed library live on Kickstarter.
I'm coming for you, Cleveland.
Okay, short and sweet. I like it.
Nice stuff.
Nice.
We actually ran it as a commercial on a couple places or in Cleveland.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
How did that work out?
I don't think it was worth doing.
Was it exorbitantly expensive, or was it?
Yeah. Well, no. Actually, I thought it was pretty reasonable. We ran it actually in front of the trailers when the Marvels came out in the Cleveland theaters, because our whole universe takes place in Cleveland. So we really tried to kind of push hard on this angle. And it's just having the Marvels didn't do all that great, and then even if you're there early, you got to be there like 15 minutes before the trailers even begin to see it. So, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily do that again. But yeah, so Punchline's about a heavyweight boxer becomes a super powered murderous clown assassin. And we got in the pages of Tap Dance Killer, we kind of slow down right here. Nikki St. Clair, she's the tap dance killer there with her mother, who is sort of really out of it. And the reason being, she was shot and killed by the Ramiro mob, but then Fletcher, the guy who's getting punched, brought her back to life, but not quite fully all there. She's talking a lot of gibberish, but if you keep kind of scrolling, she's talking about this threat that's coming, and you go to the next page, she starts to say the words V, and it's Violante. So Violante's in Mexico. She was shot by Fletcher here, and she just woke up from this coma that she's been in for over a year. And she's this mystic healer who helped Fletcher learn how to enhance the human DNA. But then he shot her on the way out because he didn't want her to steal his secrets. But her assistant did keep her alive using those secrets. And so she sees this picture here, and it reminds her of who she is. She's still connecting to her consciousness, but so she starts, her skin is all cracked. She's trying to cover that up as she's remembering who she is. You go ahead and keep scrolling, and there's the picture. But right here, that's the kind of the payoff. She just sort of floats out the window. This is, and she's kind of got this mystic GPS now to find the vaudevillains because of something else that's happened. But we don't have time to get into all that. But so here's some covers. Yvel Gachet does the art of he does the interior. That's his cover there. Absolutely adore working with Yvel. This is Ladrone, well known for the Sons of El Topo. He does a lot of Alejandro Jodorowsky stuff. That's his cover. And this was my original concept illustration of Violante. And I wanted her dress to kind of be look a bit like a dried rose. So nice. I wanted something that felt like Day of the Dead, but not a copy of, I think, what I've seen a lot of Day of the Dead looking characters. So I was aiming for something a little different. And this is by Giancarlo Bernal. Absolutely love his work. And he did the Day of the Dead vaudevillains in the back there, the hand reach. I think he really nailed that. If we keep going. So this one, I actually have a mannequin head.
This is banging, dude.
Thank you. So when I designed her, I actually hold this up. I had this mannequin head that I made. This is how I made the look of her. And I thought, I'll do a photo cover of this. But then I started playing with making it look weathered. And I thought, what if it was a Mexican, vintage horror film poster? And so like even, the cast members are actually Drayton Hayes, Nikki St. Clair, but they have Mexican names there. Nikki Santa Clara, and the clown boxer 3, that's Punchline 3. Punchline doesn't have a great and then his top tier, this is something I haven't seen before. You get a 1-of-1 metal cover, and it'll be a blow up of some image on one of the other covers. So those are, they're one of a kind. That is the top tier. This is a print by Chiara Colasante. Right there. Every physical order is going to get this print, a comic book size print, with their pledge.
Ooh.
And here's our team. And there's actually my daughter there, middle bottom. And Jay Gonzo's also doing a cover, but I don't have that one up yet. And of course, the add-ons, we've got the Apama, which is where everything started. There's 12 issues of Apama so far. That's where Tap Dance Killer got her debut. Images of Tap Dance Killer when we debuted her in Apama were being liked and shared by the thousands by people who didn't know who she was. So it really inspired me to give her her own series. That one got, was our bestseller of all time, really. Bloom has been our bestseller through Diamond, but that's really largely because I knew better what I was doing with variant covers and dealer incentives and that kind of thing. And then here we are with our 3rd issue of Punchline. So this is our 24th comic. We have the Punchline shirt, super soft fabric, very comfy. And there's videos there to watch, the debut or the trailers for all the other series that are connected to this. And we've made our goal, so we're into stretch rewards now.
Nice. How many more days left?
Almost just under 3 weeks.
Oh, nice.
You got 19 days, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So you said you were going through Diamond. Have you approached Lunar?
No, and I've been told by everybody to do that.
Mm.
I just haven't gotten around to it, but I've heard it's
They take
a
less
great.
of a percentage.
Hmm.
Sorry,
Yeah,
what was that, Phil?
They take a lot less of a percentage. Diamond takes 60%. Lunar takes a lot less.
what do they take?
I don't know the exact percentage, and I think honestly, I think they work out specific deals. I'm not sure, but it's at least 10% lower.
Okay.
The only thing with Lunar is some comic shops don't like them because they have their own online store and they feel they're in direct competition with them. But I say don't be exclusive with anybody. You go with as many distributors as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Mm.
Makes
Yep.
sense.
Listen, I can't say anything. I buy from DCBS every month, so that's my thing.
And thank you, Art Victim.
Ah, there you go. Yes.
What do we got? Who's up next, buddy?
It's coming. It's coming, Mr. Shen.
It's thinking.
Yep.
There we go.
Grinding time.
So Dan, what do we got here?
Yeah, we have 4 new books, but I'm featuring the 2 #1 issues, and that is Dragon Manx on the left, which is by Sergio Waddell Willis as the writer. We have Alexandre Coelho as the artist, and we have Tio Pinheiro as the colorist. I did the lettering. So yeah, that's the supernatural, heroics in the mean streets of Detroit. So yeah, vampires, superheroes. There are kids who are supposed to have powers to protect the earth that are being kidnapped by these supernatural teddy bears. So you can see there where we have Captain Liberia as as a superhero-looking guy, Dragon Manx on the right, and vampire character on the left. So this is part of Thunder Zone, which is like my creator-owned imprint. I was doing my own stuff in Argo Comics for a long time.
Mm.
I had other people who were interested in making their book, and some of them had their books made already. In these 2 cases, I actually have Thunder Zone Studios, and we made these books. That is Meta is a superhero, and he's actually a wrestler in Singapore. So Chronicles of the Metaversal is his book where he's kind of crossing over from his wrestling into comic book adventures. So these are Dragon Manx pages. Again, a kid is having a dream. There you see our big bad, who is responsible for these mystical teddy bears. But again, I'm not the writer of these 2 books, being that they were created in the studio, and I don't guarantee when I make a book that it's going to be part of the Thunder Zone line. But after that's done, at least I've been the editor the whole way through, and I can ensure the quality of it and have a better chance of taking that submission as part of Thunder Zone.
So what made you decide to go into like publishing?
Well, with Argo Comics, yeah, I had my own characters, as many had in like probably starting in grade school, and then you make your own characters, and if you want to tell stories with them, I mean, some people just get commissions of their characters and they lead a fulfilling life through that. But I wanted stories done, so yeah, about 2000, I guess. Well, Jay made mention of the day job. At the point, I was working as a police officer in New York, and actually in 9/11, I was competing in the drug-free bodybuilding at that point, and at 9/11, I saw a lot of lives taken very shortly. I always had that dream of making comics. I always put it off. I said, let me put the competing on hold for a little bit, get that dream accomplished. So yeah, that got me. I had already been writing for some bodybuilding publications, so I took that writing into doing comics, and again, did my own for quite a while, up to issue 44 is at the printer now, Vargo 5. But did that, Argo Comics, and kind of, well, here's my book actually now in the Thunder Zone is Nature Man. Okay, so a lot of people are using public domain characters. There was a public domain Nature Boy by Jerry Siegel and John Buscema back in the day. 3 issues, went away, became public domain. I figured, let me bring him back. And, time has passed, so now he is Nature Man. Those adventures stopped in 1957. I decided to pick up from those issues actually occurring, and this being him, issue 1, he digs himself out of the grave. And, you get to hear the story of how that came to be, but more of a continuation rather than just revamping the character, utilizing the name, and not acknowledging the history. It takes a little more research when you do the history of it, but I think it's a richer story for that. Supercross is our last. So the first 2 were number 1s. Nature Man was number 2. Supercross is number 2. We had Kickstarters for those titles in the past. Supercross is a team of superheroes from Singapore, created, written, and drawn by Jerry Himes, who is like president of the Singapore Association of Comics. So got him on board, and actually, yeah, those are the 4 new covers there, like books that are new to Kickstarter. There's all the Thunder Zone books, so we have a level for that.
Nice.
We have a level for digital commissions. And then we have a level based on, again, making these comics, these 2 comics in this Kickstarter we made. As you can see, we go from everything, art, colors, letters, and make the book for people. So we have a level for that. And like some people have a more solid script, and neither of these guys had it page 1, panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, panel 4. They, actually, Dragon Manx came more as paragraphs, and I was able to, again, as part of our service in Thunder Zoom Studios, translate that into a comic script, where I was able to get it to one of our artists and to the colorist, and took it from concept to book, and here's a Kickstarter. And these 2 guys are real guys. The guy on the left had a YouTube, Sergio had a YouTube channel, and as I said, on the right, Ezekiel wrestles in Singapore in the SPW, Singapore Pro Wrestling, and he had his character who now gets a full book. So
that's fascinating that you get these guys from all over the place, from all over the world, to come in. I mean, you're at 1,800. You got 42 backers. You had 6 days ago. I mean, you're almost at your goal, so I don't think you're gonna have a problem making that. So.
Yeah, we're hoping for that remind me bump at the end.
Yeah,
but
no, you're good. I don't see you having any problems making that.
Fingers crossed.
All right, cool. Now, Miss, where are we? There's too many. Here we go. Right.
Miss Grant.
Miss Grant.
Why couldn't he finish the line? Karissa, kick his ass, Karissa.
Yeah, do it. I wanted to see it through the screen. Go ahead.
You know what? I'm gonna kick your ass. After the show's over, I'm gonna knock on your door.
On you, Karissa.
Just come on over.
Play the video.
It's coming. No?
If you're a fan of Supernatural, Buffy, Good Omens, Silent Hill, or Resident Evil, prepare to be immersed in the dark and enthralling world of the Worthy Chaos series. As the story goes, the fate of heaven, hell, and the entire cosmos hangs in the balance as Seraphina, a descendant of angels, and demon descendant Draven, two souls bound by destiny, must unearth their forgotten powers, unlock the secrets of their past, and rewrite the eternal conflict between angel and demon. Prepare for an epic tale of love, betrayal, and the battle for the ultimate power. Unlock the secrets of a world where chaos meets destiny.
All right, we're gonna limit it to that. But the book looks awesome, though, Karissa.
Nice hardcover book. Love that.
Looks
Yeah.
good.
That looks awesome.
Great.
Karissa, you there?
Karissa, you're mute.
I think she's muted.
Yeah.
There we are.
There you go.
Sorry. But yeah.
That's all right. So we were just saying that the book looks awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
So walk us through this.
22 pages. The first
Yeah.
7 chapters.
Yeah, it's the first 7 issues, which completes book 1. There's 5 books in total, 45 issues total, already written, and this is the first 7. The cover is from Ken Hunt, who worked at DC for 10 years. That's the cover. Worked on Batman, Superman, Harley Quinn, all that. He did both covers, and both covers were colored. Both covers is in the front and the back. Yeah, there. Okay. It's by C.C. Dela Cruz, which is from Lady Death Universe, and it looks awesome. So these are just a gif of the pages. It shows you an example of the pages.
Oh, those are gifts.
It's a gift, yeah, of like to give you an example of the page, because otherwise you'd be scrolling for like ever.
Yeah.
So, like if you want to play the video, you can, because it shows you the art. But I didn't put like pages on here because there's so many.
Gotcha. Now you said that there's 45 issues in total. That's the entire story.
It's the entire series 1. Yeah. There's a series 2, but it's a different plot. It's the same characters, just different plot. But it kind of continues on from where it is. But this completes the series. So if I wanted to end it at 45 issues, I could. I could torture everyone and end it at 23 issues, but I think some people will kill me. So, but yeah. So it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Supernatural in Silent Hill in the Resident Evil universe, with Evil Dead and Good Omens thrown in there. And it follows Angel Descendant Seraphina and Demon Descendant Draven as they try to survive against their fathers, who are after her, as she was created from an angelic weapon that has the power of souls. And if either side gets it, they can tip the scales of heaven and hell in their favor. And unfortunately, the only way to activate it currently is with Seraphina's soul. So it's kind of a survival horror, or Romeo and Juliet in hell. But pretty much it's them trying to survive against everything they get thrown at them. The book 1, which is here, is them in a Silent Hill type town that's merging with hell. And it brings up hellhounds and zombie mermen and ghosts and zombies and vampires, which is our clotters, and everything that's thrown at them. And then it continues into book 2, which is where they're trapped in the asylum with giant salamanders and zombies and more ghosts, and that'll be January 8th.
Nice. Now, you got the hardcover. So, I mean, the hardcover's already produced. You're having them produced. Was that just a sample you got?
They arrive on this Friday.
Oh, okay.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. So all right. How many of them did you have produced?
500.
500. Nice. Okay.
How long? Very nice crossover print with you and Rob from Nightwolf.
That's why I had to launch before it arrived. Usually I wait till I have them, but I wanted to launch because I am. If you go all the way down, you'll see the picture. It's a Street Fighter homage print. That was my idea, and my artist did it, and I absolutely love it. I've been wanting to do one for the longest time. There's a lot of scrolling.
Yeah, you got to get through song lyrics.
Yes, the song. Well, you guys didn't hear it, but in the video, if you watch it, the song is our first song. Hopefully, our second song should be done for book 2, which is another song written by Permissible Indulgence, which their link is there, and this is the lyrics to it. It's completely written and based on our characters and our story.
Cool.
It never ends. If it wasn't taken, we wanted the never-ending story, but unfortunately, that's.
All right. Well, here's Rob's book, Night Wolf.
Yes.
Yeah, which is live right now. And if you back this one and you back that one, you will get this really cool print of our Anubis versus his Night Wolf, and ours would obviously win.
We should have you both on to talk about that.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
really, right?
Yeah.
Those are fighting words.
Yeah. He admits it. He admitted it. He said maybe next year there'll be a little bit more competition. So next time we have one, maybe we'll have them like actually be in the fighting stance, and we'll see how far the bars go down. But
Nice.
I think it's be a really cool animated pick.
And everybody's favorite comics, Wellspring.
Yeah, and I just saw that they went up in price a lot.
Yep.
What?
Yes,
Like,
they did. 73 cents.
Yeah, I was gonna say Phil is the one that told me, so he knows. But I just looked it up, and normally it costs me a lot less. Right now it's costing me $5.25 to print at the rate I usually do for 28 pages. So it went up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it sounds like it's time to find an alternative.
And it's a shame because they have great customer service. I really like this company, but if you can't afford to print the damn book, I mean, what are we supposed to do? You know?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
They've screwed up a lot of my orders, but they always made it right. So I do like them a lot, but I print them every other month. So I have a campaign every 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
So it's kind of tough to all my I don't really have a profit, but any of the money goes straight to printing. So it is kind of it goes to printing and merch. I don't see any of this. But yeah. So.
And he doesn't match anybody's quote. So I try to bring him some offset printing quotes because he says he does offset printing, and he politely said he can't do it.
Yeah. I think they used to, and now they can't.
No, they do. They just can't match the price point.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want obviously money to come in, but I'm actually counting how many I have left to store. So far there's 18 boxes that are on their way, and I think I've gotten through 2 boxes, so I need to get more because I have to store everything. So buy more.
Wait,
so I don't have to store them.
you don't do what I do and turn it into furniture in your place?
I think it was Rob that mentioned I should just make a throne out of it in front of her instead of my chair.
That's my girl. That if I
I'm
had space to make a throne
Fire.
in here, I'd make it.
I'm already the queen of merch, so I might as well do that. But yeah, so our next campaign is going to be January 8th and then February 27th, and then about 6 to 7 weeks after that each one, and we'll have 6 to 8 campaigns next year already planned.
God damn, girl.
Issue 8 is already completed and sent to the printer, is being sent to the printers this week, and issue 9 is already complete and sent to the printers this week, and issue 10 is halfway through.
I love your stick-to-itiveness, right? I mean, that's not even a word, but I love how you attack this. I do. I wish many creators had your level of exuberance.
Well,
but
many creators care if they lose their house or not, apparently. But
yeah.
I have to do this as fast as I can before my artist finds out how severely underpaid he is, or he goes and gets a better job. Fortunately, he's incredibly loyal to us. This was his first and now 10th paid job. So he really does love the characters. He's not just a paid artist. And, if we ever do make a profit off of it, I would split it with him and my co-writer. And And because, like I said, he's severely underpaid. For book to make him slightly more happy, I have hired a colorist, Matt Chambers, for issue 8 for book 2, and a new letterer, SK, which is absolutely amazing. So
SK's the new
for
guy.
yeah, so you'll see book 8. I definitely leveled up. My artist will admit he absolutely hated coloring, and he absolutely definitely hated lettering. So
Wait, he did all 4 levels?
He did everything. Yeah.
Holy
and
shit.
he did a great job, but he's exhausted. But the only thing now is he's so much faster that like it's literally
yeah, because you took lettering and coloring off of his board.
Yeah, so he's way happier, way faster, and yeah, he's killing me. But I it's like I have this fight with my wallet. I want pages faster, but I my wallet's like, you probably shouldn't. But
all right, Karissa, let me just ask you this question. After he took the lotion out of the basket, you know, thank you for taking all those other things off of his plate.
Yeah,
I mean, because you got my man trapped in a hole, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, he posted this meme that said, I don't know if you know, remember RoboCop. It said this poor guy died and his boss still made him come in the next day, and it goes, that would be you. You would have to come back to work the next day. So you don't have a choice. So yeah, he's
so you're not grading him.
Everyone yells at me.
I'm sorry. I see you in that scene of the Deer Hunter where they're playing Russian roulette. Get him out! Get him out! You know what I mean? Just like abusing him to finish his
so
you know, he talks smack about it, but I told him he could take a week off because his back hurt, and he's like, he goes, I don't think I could go that long without drawing it. I was like, then stop yelling at me. So he took like 2 days off, and then he doesn't usually work on the weekend. It was like a Sunday, and he's like, I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna start today. I was like, dude, whatever. And then he came back with like 7 pages. I was like, you're killing me.
Nice. Well, it sounds like what that guy needs is some magic powder.
Yeah.
Nice segue.
Hell of a segue.
Yeah. So let me play this video.
I mean, you don't have to. It's basically going to be what we're doing anyway.
Play that shit.
Well, if it takes you.
Magic powder number 5 on Kickstarter. If you've backed the other magic powders before, you pretty much know how the campaign's going to work. This time we do have extra variant covers though, so check those out. We have the usual friend of the family package where you get your name in the book, you get the actual book, you pick which cover you want, stuff like that. But if you want all the covers in one reward package, get the Capo package, and then you'll get all the new stuff. If you're brand new to Magic Powder, there's a bunch of catch-up packages, which will hook you up, so you'll be able to get the volume 1, which has the first 3 issues, and then you'll also be able to get issue number 4, and then you get issue number 5, and you're all caught up. If you're one of those people who missed one of our campaigns, but you have most of the Magic Powders, you can also get single issues as add-ons. So check out the add-on page after you select your reward. And that's pretty much that. Right now we have also this pretty sweet coaster. If you want a Magic Powder coaster, $2. Grab a little coaster action. And then anyone who backs anything, you get a free sticker of Ja the Elf, which you can see at the top of the campaign page. Also, if you're new here, you never read Magic Powder before, the digital copy of issue number 1 is there for you to download. Also at the top of the campaign page. Everything else is right there for you, all laid out. So check it out. Thanks for coming down to Kickstarter. And Magic Powder number 5 needs you.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't have a trailer or anything for any of mine yet, but one of these days I want to do that.
Jeff, I want to say before we go any further, I'm very upset with you because you do not have the gray hair that so many of us in comic books.
No, I got a few in here. There's a few.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. Come on.
And I plucked one out of my beard last night before I went out. I had to pluck one out. I was like, no.
He's only been doing this a couple years. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm new.
Plenty of time. Plenly of time.
It went gray in 2 months. My wife said I did my job and walked away.
Nice.
Oh man, yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, right here we have the people from the last issue who backed Be Your Character reward. So like my cousin Chuck, Michael Anthony, Franz, and then Greg Anderson. And so now they're all characters in the book and stuff. And we have tiers like that still. Like if you want to be a cameo character or you want to be a speaking character. So, just a little fun. That's like our biggest reward tier. And then like right there, you can download the first issue if you want to check out Magic Powder for free. It's like right above the sticker. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. The story, I try to keep it all pretty succinct, get to the preview stuff. This artist, Samuel Owunzi. Yeah, I love it. I use the same cover artist for the A cover on every campaign so far. Samuel Owunzi, who's out of Nigeria. He's great. He's worked on some other comics too, like Tights and stuff like that. So he pops up here and there on the indie scene. Then we have Danielle Aquilani out of Italy, who does all my interior art. He also does all the coloring and the letters and everything else, like Jay was saying, and like Karissa was saying. So yeah, and then even right here, like this shot right here in the middle, those are a lot of the cameo backers. So like that blue goblin in the back, he's a comic book character created by John Filla, and he kind of like crossed over into a goblin in our world now. And then that's my uncle in the middle. That someone's dog they wanted to put in is right next to him. And then a couple other backers and stuff. So yeah, it was just fun. Like, that's the cameo. So usually that's all like one big shot of everybody. So like if you want to be in it, and then those characters probably won't return unless like sometimes though I have had backers like pay for a speaking character to bring their cameo character back. So that happens too.
Beautiful work.
Yeah, Danielle's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then right here in the story where we're at is like, these are the two main characters, basically, like the dwarf father, and then this is Ja the elf, who's basically been trying to take over his territory, and they're finally going to meet, although he meets him in like a mimic form, so he's not even really there, so he can't really do anything to him, so he tries to punch him, and it goes through his head and stuff like that. But yeah, so far this is going to be like the second to last issue of the arc, so it's going to set up the real finale, so this way, it's going to be a pretty epic blowout, I think, for issue 5 and 6.
Very nice, very nice. So okay, so you're looking at 6 issues
for this arc, yeah. But I mean, as far as Magic Powder goes, I don't know that it'll ever end. As far as I'm alive, as far as I can find artists to do it too. So that Pulp Fiction cover was done by Flops, who's done a lot of Kickstarter stuff. You can find him on Instagram, stuff like that. Flops Comics, and I wanted a Pulp Fiction variant, and I didn't know he was gonna make the Goblin naked. But I think that works out on the Kickstarter campaign. I haven't heard no complaints. You know what I'm saying? Even the guy who I guess is the head of indie or head of comics for Kickstarter, he hit me up. He said, the campaign looked good. So that was cool. I've never had that happen on any of my campaigns before. And then the second variant cover we have is done by Maria Teresa Suska. And it's kind of like based on like a Smoking Aces DVD case. Like I was like, maybe do like a Smoking. So I wasn't sure if Flops was going to be able to get the cover done for me. So I wanted to make sure I had a variant cover. So I hit her up. And she knocked it out, no problem. And then Flops also came through. So this is the first time we've had 2 variant covers. I doubt I'll ever do 2 variant covers again, but we'll see. But yeah, overall, it's been going good. Then the team right there, it's like I write it. Danielle does all the interior stuff. And like I said, the cover artist. And then my sister Raven, she does all like the graphic designs, like all the stuff that says rewards and team. And she puts our logo on the comic. She made the logo, puts the names on it, puts the thank you pages together. Sometimes we have like extra pages too, like kind of like the back of like a Watchmen issue where you get a novel or you get like people's notes and stuff like that. And so my sister also does the art for all that stuff. So yeah, so far it's going pretty good. We're 65% funded, 231 backers, which is cool. The most backers we've ever had is 347. Last time we did an issue, we got 340. So hopefully we'll be in the 300s again by the time it's over. But I hope that, I'm not really too worried about it, but I'm getting a little more worried as we get closer to the end here. But we've gotten over 6,000 3 times, so I'm not really too worried about it. But still, you never know. The game changes every time you go up. So I know, I don't know what to expect till it's over.
Yeah, but it's a gorgeous book, man. I mean, I've always loved it.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, and it's like, you guys helped me a lot by having me on and stuff early on, and it's just been going pretty well. But yeah, man, it's just fun. Like I can't get enough. Like I said, I even started doing like a spin-off Western, and you can also get the Elf with No Name. I forgot to mention that in the video, like an idiot. But like, our spin-off Western is also available as an add-on, the first issue, which came out like last month. So in case anyone's looking for that, but yeah, thanks.
So you're at least 6. So you have at least 6 comics underneath your belt, 2 years.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you're no longer a beginner either.
Yeah, thanks.
You are a vet, sir. You are a vet.
After 6, you should know what you're doing. or
Exactly.
thereabouts. Yeah.
Thereabouts,
I feel
yeah.
pretty good about
very
it, but
great.
it's like, you know, it's still a grind every damn Kickstarter campaign, you know. Like I think next time I have
Absolutely.
a different idea. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the hardest part. That's where the gray hairs come in, is the fucking Kickstarter campaign.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Listen, I
I got
we
all mine
guys-
from dealing with the distributors. So yeah.
And
I
that
picked it all
sounds
up.
like a pain in the ass. Yeah, I believe
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah, we've had guys on who are raising like 40 grand, and they're like, it's still a grind.
Yeah.
No
Oh,
matter
I
what.
believe it, bro. Oh, I
You know,
believe
so it doesn't, it doesn't matter what level you're at. It's always going to be a grind. You know.
Yeah, just put your head
mean-
down and keep telling people about it. Like,
That's it.
Yep.
What you got to
That's
do.
You know. Yep. Kelly Jones and Matt Wagner just capped out at what, like 250, about 250, 2 and 3
dang.
K, and
Dang.
but they were out there and they were pushing it.
Yeah,
You know,
you
it
got it.
wasn't like-
Man.
Yeah, they weren't passive about it. They were out there and they were pushing. They were pushing hard. So
That's actually been a cool thing about the variant covers on this issue. Flops and Maria Teresa like are really good at like, you know, sharing the comic and talking, spreading the word. Because like Danielle and Sam and even my sister, they're not really big on social media, so it's like
Mhm.
mostly me promoting everything all the time. But you know, it's cool to have a little backup.
oh yeah, definitely. No man, this like I said, it looks awesome. I don't think you're gonna have a problem funding. You're 39, like you say, you're 65%.
Yeah,
Another
feeling
11
good. And,
days.
yeah, and then also we have like, you know, the project followers or whatever. It's at like 304 or something, 309. I don't remember, but it, like the most we've ever had on that was 310. So hopefully
Right.
we'll even top how much followers we have for the first time. So that'll be the first record we break maybe this time.
Nice.
I don't know. Yeah, at least have some kind of milestone. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got to make it, man. We got to make it. That's all that matters, you know.
Yeah.
And then after that, it'll be fine.
There you go.
All right, cool. Now, for issue 6, how long do you think?
Well, usually right when Danielle finishes an issue, I just have the script ready for him.
Mhm.
And he's got like 3 more pages to do, usually about a page a week. So I would say, you know, sometime around April, maybe we'll be going live with that one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, maybe a little later, because like usually he gets 2 done a year, basically. That's like the rate we're at.
All right, sounds good, man. Listen, it looks awesome. Like I said, I don't think you're gonna have an issue. So
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it. But yeah, heck yeah. And that variant cover, that Pulp Fiction variant, like has done really well. It's easily been the best my variants have done yet.
yeah, it's a good looking. It's a really nice looking piece. All right,
Yeah, I
cool.
love it, man. Hell yeah. Thanks for having me.
Listen, man. You know, when you do the next one, we gotta definitely bring you back.
Oh, I'm down. Yeah, hell yeah. It's always fun to be on. It's cool because I get to see everybody else's stuff too, man. Like you guys always have really great guests.
You know, besides you having just like jet black hair, not one speck of gray. I'm sorry. If you think you do, the rest of us here, they're like, you know, get the fuck out of here with that. But you know, your smooth radio voice, you know, it sounds like you should be doing the late night shift of jazz. You know what I mean? And I'm
Oh
like,
man, that'd be dope. I'd love to do.
You
a
didn't
job
know
like
his
that.
side job is the 99 number, or whatever that number is. Yeah. Hey, how you doing tonight? He does the Barry White.
Yeah.
Hello.
91.5. But yeah.
see, he's got it. He does do it. You know,
Yeah, I would love to be a radio DJ. That'd be the easiest. Well, I don't know if it's an easy job, but it seems like a fun job. The radio's kind of out, you know.
Wouldn't be too rough to start your own internet radio station.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Now that I got the stupid mic arm and all that stuff, maybe I'll do it, you know.
Listen, maybe you could do late nights. You could do one of those horror TV shows, right?
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
I'll just rip off
there
Joe
we
Bob
go.
Briggs.
Horror host.
That's it.
Yeah.
Be great.
Here we go, Phil.
You can skip the video if you want for expediency.
Okay,
Oh,
is it like?
shit.
Is it
Oh,
long?
you put Calderon right there in your front image, bro.
not too
That's
long.
awesome.
Oh shit.
What?
Damn.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Shut
Jay,
up.
Jay likes to project. Jay likes to project quite a bit.
That's a cover by Tom Mandrake, who co-created. He did created the Black Mask, the Batman villain.
Yeah,
And he did
cool.
Batman
Yeah.
for a while there. He did Spectre and Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, the great Tom Mandrake.
Yeah, he's a really great guy. He's a big horror fan, and it was a must-have. There's an interview with him.
Fantastic artist.
There's an interview with him in the magazine as well, a written interview. You mentioned Kelly Jones before. He was going to do a cover, and he had to back out because of that project that they just wrapped up. So, but he'll probably be on the second one, hopefully.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Now, like I said, the video, is it really long?
No, I mean, if you want it, you can play it. I could probably tell you more than the video.
One never knows what horrors dwell in the hearts and minds of man. evil that stares in the deep recesses of one's soul. Shadows and whispers all around us. Horror, the way it was meant to be written. Do dare into the diary of dread.
Going for the, sort of campy but actual horror feel. The book is graphic, and it's been. I don't like to be placated, so I go to diehard fans of the genre, because if they're gonna rip me apart, then I need to know that this book is not up to par. And I've got people that have thousands of horror films, know the most obscure horror films, from those Italian films to Japanese films, and they're all telling me that the book is really good. That's a Ben Templesmith cover. He did 30 Days a Night. I wrote 5 full-length stories, and there's one 10-page story by Marvel writer Charles Santino. And unfortunately, it's hard to sell the stories because there's twists that you don't see coming, and everyone was caught off guard by the twists, which I'm very proud of. Now, I have my crypt keepers, so to speak, are these 2 twins, Levi and Lilith, and they're psycho twins, basically. They're not well in the head. And it starts off, you saw the first graphic was them with a captive family, and they're reading the Diary of Dread to them. Thank you, Carlos. You got the Templesmith color. So there's different artists on the different stories, different colorists. Jason Meadows lettered the whole book. I'm really proud of this because I had never written horror before, and I wanted to branch out from the typical things that I was writing. And luckily, I think, people who have read this asked me if I actually had some psychological issues, if I was a closet psycho or not, because it's pretty fucked up, in the words of Jay. Kevin West, who's a Marvel, artist, he also does the storyboarding for the Creep Show TV show. He read it and he told me it was really good, and the last story actually bothered him. So I wear that with a badge of honor. And of course, I'm surrounded by amazing. That's the Charles Santino story. I'm surrounded by amazing artists that make my stories come to life, because without their beautiful visual storytelling, it wouldn't have the same impact. And of course, it would just be something in my head, and I'd probably be in a straitjacket. But so I have to say thank you. We have a black and white and a color version. A lot of true horror fans like black and white. And I decided to do it in a magazine size. We have metal covers. I can even show you one when you're done. I have here the Templesmith metal cover. But the book it's truly horror. I'm not knocking anything, but a lot of horror these days, for me, where's that from?
Oh, this was Randy's. I'm sorry. I thought that
Oh,
was
sorry. Yeah.
That ain't my book.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Don't get ahead of yourself.
I got way ahead of myself.
I was like,
We collaborated, I didn't even know it.
Was that Rust?
Yeah. So I'm very proud of it. It's got twists and turns. It's written. It's horror written the way it should be written. It surprises you. It disgusts you. It kind of makes you feel uneasy. Like, you ever watched the Mist?
Yes.
The ending of that movie is so fucked up that it sits with you for a long time.
Yeah.
You'll never forget it, basically.
Yeah, it like bugs crawling at your soul, right? I wanted to write stuff that feels like bugs crawling at your soul. Like, when you walked away from it, you loved it and hated that you loved it at the same time.
Yeah.
I remember asking some people, like, what's an actual horror comic that scared you? Because I know a lot of people are into horror comics, but I don't feel like they actually do get scared by them. So the fact that you're telling me, Phil, that like people read this shit, like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, that makes me want to read it. That's
I'm proud of that. I mean, I'm not usually a horror guy, so I must be doing something right. But I always say this: I'm not going to tell you if I'm a good or bad writer, because I can't tell you. That's for you to decide. But you have to buy the book to find out. Yeah. You can't say anything about me, good or bad, unless you buy the book and you read it.
Agreed.
And
Yeah,
again,
right.
it's 156 pages to supplement toilet paper if you happen to not like it. But
Always
yeah,
good to have a
these-
plan B.
yeah, I mean, we have a Kickstarter exclusive cover, that black and white from Kenny Calderon, no relation to JD, with the woman there. That's a
Well,
Kickstarter.
we don't know. Is he Puerto Rican? It's a very small island. We might be cousins.
There you go.
We'll have to look into your family tree. But that is limited only to the Kickstarter. So if you like that cover, there will be no other opportunity to get it other than the Kickstarter. And I don't play games. If I say it's limited to 25, that's what it's limited to. I don't get extras for damage or whatever. It's 25. If I tell you this is a Kickstarter exclusive, you won't see it sold anywhere else. I'm only ordering what the Kickstarter backers pledge. So just keep that in mind. And we have deals where you can get the black and white and the color version if you want, or you can mix and match. You know, if you like some color, like if you like it better in the black and white for Temple Smith, but you like the color Mandrake better, then you can mix and match them and get the different covers. We don't have family burn. And then, like I said, we've got the limited metal covers. It's limited to 20 that you can order. We have a few of those gone already. And yeah, it's a thick book. I'm going to show you the book when we're done. You're getting your money's worth. It's a big book, and it's chocked full of. I always believe go big or go home, and representation is everything. If you're going to do this and you're going to bust your ass and invest your money and your time, and you're going to ask people who are probably working jobs that bring them no happiness or joy to spend that money on you, you better come with the goods. And I'm telling you, we came with the goods. And I promise you, your investment in me is not going to be a waste.
Nice.
We appreciate people that make my dream come true and you just worked your hard job, you know?
What is this piece? Is this a alternate cover? Like this?
So those are actually enamel pins by Kevin Stewart, who is one of the cover artists, and I also represent him. I'm an art rep, and he does these awesome enamel pins. It's a play on Kool-Aid, obviously, with horror.
I love the They Live one, man. Like that's amazing.
Yeah. He had another one, Michael Myers, that sold out, but I have them all. They're really well constructed, really cool pins, full color, real solid enamel, and they're just cool. They're fun, and The Thing, I love The Thing, man. That's my favorite horror film. And
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
see, that's the thing is I like films. Horror to me isn't hack and slash as much as it's like that's an element.
Psychological.
Yeah, you know, it's like you want to like holy crap, I didn't see that coming, or just how real it could be, right? I mean, the more possible a scenario can be, the more you get in the story and go, man, this is creepy shit because this could happen to me tomorrow, you know? Mm-hmm. And I like stuff like that. I love the stuff that hits you. Now, this is Kevin Stewart. This is a sample because we have commission tiers for original art on the campaign as well by the artists I rep. And that's something that Kevin did a while ago. So that's the quality of work you'd get if you commission him.
Nice.
And that's him too. We unlocked the first 2 stretch goals. Hopefully we'll get to the next one. We have a lot of followers. The conversion rate is low right now. So we're hoping for the 48-hour surge. If not, I'll find where you live and toilet paper your house, you sons of bitches. No, I'm kidding. Seriously, if you guys like horror, even if you're a casual fan of horror, if you're a diehard fan of horror, I really think you'll enjoy this. The Horror Syndicate reviewed it and they loved it. We were just interviewed by Bleeding Fool, not Bleeding Cool, Bleeding Fool, because Bleeding Cool doesn't give us the time of day. And it's been fun to delve into this genre and to see how sick I really am.
Nice.
Fortunately, my wife wasn't happy about it. She's like, shit, what else do I not know about you?
Jesus.
We go through all of those, brother.
Yeah. She's like, just when I thought I knew everything that drove me nuts about you, now I find out you're a closet psycho.
You must hide it well.
What's that?
You can tell it you expunged it onto the page. You know, you got it out of your system.
That's what it is. Yeah.
I channeled my frustration with humanity right out into the horror book. You know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like the victims of the guy that cut me off on the highway the other day, or the schmuck that was in line counting pennies when he had time before he got to the cashier. You know.
Yeah.
In the chat, Pete Vasquez says Steel Magnolias is my favorite horror movie.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Hey, when they stole that parking spot, she went batshit crazy.
There you go.
I don't care what anybody says. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is still the
He was
most
killing
terrifying
kids.
horror movie to me ever.
Yeah.
Killing kids.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
But this
While,
is
while singing like happy songs too. Like
Yeah,
that's the sick
he
part of it,
showed
like-
Calderon. He's putting up Philip is putting up the book.
Yeah, the
let's
metal
kill the
cover,
fat kid for being gluttonous. Ha ha. Now let's sing about it. Oompa loompa.
Yeah. And Jay resembles
There we
that.
are.
So that's the metal
That's
cover
shiny.
of Ben Temple Smith.
Hey, that's me. What are you doing?
Man, it must be the gray hair,
me off
Randy.
the
He
screen.
keeps
Must be.
confusing
Yeah,
us.
it must be.
You know, I'm the one that's drinking tonight. Come on, buddy.
So that's,
Nice.
that's the metal version of the Ben Temple Smith. I have all
Oh,
of them.
looks
in metal.
nice.
Nice.
Look at that.
That looks awesome.
Show us how thick that book is.
Yeah, show us how.
Oh,
thick
wow.
it is.
There you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
And just so you know, this isn't with the 10 pages added of the one story. This was the prototype. So this is actually going to be 10 more pages in this book.
It'll
It's
be a
gonna be
little
even
thicker
bigger.
than that. Then.
And
Yeah.
just to show you the size, magazine size. This is no joke, guys. You're getting your money's worth. I promise you.
Nice, nice.
And real quick, can I tell you, we just did the tragedy book. That's the small one. It's almost 300 pages for the big one.
Mhm.
Bill Sienkiewicz cover. We have Chris Picciolo and we have David Mack.
There you go.
So we don't play around at Philbo. Come out and find out.
All right, cool.
Way to be, brother.
Hell yeah.
Looks good. Looks real good.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate you having me
Also,
on.
Just shout out
listen.
real quick to Grant Lankard in here who backed Magic Powder. Thank you.
Oh, way to be, Grant.
Thank you, Grant. And Randy, you're up.
I'm up. This is what
You're up.
what we can currently boast about now. If you want to pop that up on the screen now, there we are.
Watch them show mine.
We're adapting the public domain story of the Shadow Kingdom by Robert E. Howard. And, this is the artwork by Russ Leach. He is about halfway through the inks on this. It's all
Russ is awesome. He's working
adapted.
with me now.
Yeah, he is and doing just knocking it out of the park on this. It's just incredible stuff.
I love Russ.
I got the pleasure of adapting the story. Now I get the pleasure of having to letter it. So we'll see how that goes. Because we wanted to keep the story as true to the work as possible because it's just a phenomenal story. It's recognized as the first sword and sorcery story printed in America. It's the one that started the genre. It has got every little aspect that you can imagine. Sorcery and Cull here just becomes the king of Valusia, and he finds out that there's a conspiracy to take the throne by a race of shape-shifting lizard people. So that he has to deal with, and it's this is just I think it's some of Howard's best work. It's some of his early it's the earliest barbarian work that he had done. It's just a phenomenal story. It stretches out to 68 pages. Russ is just, like I said, the layouts on this are unbelievable. Let me see if I can pull up another page here. There's one.
Nice.
On this.
Yeah.
This is Cull reflecting about his past life. Cull is a little bit more introspective than Conan is, and he has a bad tendency to overthink situations. Luckily, he's got a. Go ahead.
Are you going to keep it in black and white?
Right now, we're looking at black and white. We're going to see how it goes, and then it's Russ's baby. This is I'm just here for the pleasure of adapting it. So yeah, and now I get, like I said, I get to letter the. How are you going to put letters over that? You know, that's what I'm looking at. This is going to be a nice little challenge. But yeah, Russ is talking a lot of things, a lot of different ways. We're definitely going to be doing it large size, probably like the Dread of Night book that Phil's got in a larger than comic size. Yeah, and at 68 pages, it'll be square bound. We're talking hardback. Maybe I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do first, but Russ wants to do a lot with it. And in fact, he's having so much fun with the character. He wants to do a lot more. So hopefully this is just the start. We're going to be crowdfunding this in the first quarter of next year, as soon as all of the artwork's done, so that Russ and I can really concentrate on promoting it. And you can look for that over at fundmycomic.com. It'll be called The Shadow Kingdom. Can't wait for everybody to see it, because the other adaptions of this story that have been done in comics haven't really treated the story to the best of their ability, I don't think. And this is going to be a real true adaptation of that short story. We're going to try to keep as much Howard prose in there as possible, but it's we're in a comic book medium, so it's all, show don't tell.
Yep.
So it's going to be an interesting challenge that I'm looking forward to the next few weeks, to get all of the lettering on here and see how the story flows. But I'm really confident that it's going to be a phenomenal product. I can't wait for folks to see it. First quarter. If you want to sign up now for more information on this, russleach.com. Go over there and sign up. I think Russ told me we're close to 500 signups already. And so it's looking like it's going to be a really phenomenal product.
Are you guys going to launch on a crowdfunding site, or you're just going to run it through his website?
We are going to crowdfund it through fundmycomic.com.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Nice.
Probably first quarter of 2024. And then after that, maybe every 3 or 4 months, you might see a little addition to it.
Very cool.
Coming along. It all depends on how, everything's one step at a time.
You looking at square bound, or you're going to try to do the stable?
Definitely square bound for this one. 68 pages of story, plus we're going to print the prose story in the back of the book.
Nice.
We've got a great introduction coming. I'm going to do a follow-up behind the story, a little look at Howard and what Cull was all about when he was writing it, that kind of thing. I can't wait to do it. We're talking to a couple of other of the Howard scholars, maybe to pitch in on this as well. So it's just going to be an exciting product. I can't wait for folks to see it.
Yeah.
You're listening. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Let me see if I got another page here.
Very quickly, before you pull up the next one, I want to ask people about something.
That's it. That's one of the covers that we'll be offering there.
Oh, show. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's fun stuff. All the sword and sorcery elements are there. It's just great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful book. It's going to look incredible.
Yeah, I think so. Russ is really doing a phenomenal job.
No fucking
Great guy, great artist, very professional.
Yep.
All around, yes.
So Jay, what are we gonna add?
Very quickly, I don't know if people peruse magazine racks or anything like that, but I came across a magazine today, and I'm forgetting the name, but the paper stock on it, the cover was a bit heavier, a bit thicker. It had texture to it. It wasn't glossy. It wasn't matte. I don't even know.
Did it have that? Was it that silk?
Yeah,
finish?
I know what you're talking about. It feels nice, right? It's like a little grainy, but it's soft at the same time.
Yes.
I forget what it's called, but it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, I would love to see books with that texture on their covers right now.
Oh yeah.
It's something different. It gives it a different feel. Maybe it gets people to buy more physical books than digital books. Just because of the presentation.
Right.
I just want to run back to New York Comic Con when I was at the ICV2 meeting. Milton Green had said, with all the numbers he was running down, that consumers were more inclined to spend extra money on books for higher page counts, better finishes, and stuff like that. And I was just, that came across my head when I was touching the magazine. I was like, damn, this feels good.
Sehn.
He started rubbing it all over his crotch and
all over his nipples. Jesus.
Well, I had to put the soap on it first. You know what I mean? See how lathered also.
Wife walked in. It was just ugly.
Yeah, but it's probably a satin finish.
Satin.
That's what it's called.
You're probably right.
Sehn.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Randy, you got a question?
I think the biggest question to ask is your theme tonight is, are you cut out for this Indie Comics life? What do you think you need to be in this Indie Comics life?
All right, fair enough. Dan, you're up.
As Jay had mentioned before, some other source of income is a good idea, because hanging your hat on just the comics publishing, and it's quite unfortunate in the fact that in crowdfunding, if you are dealing with this as your sole avenue of income, and you probably don't have I like to have the books actually completed, and then do the crowdfunding, because then I'm paying for the printing, the shipping, all the extras that go into that. If there's something left over, perhaps putting that toward the next issue. But it's a very unfortunate set of circumstances that if you are funding it because you don't have an income to make the book, in the time of making the book, it seems like bills do come in, and a new pair of kicks may flash across your screen, and things of that nature, where the money kind of goes away. So I think in having, and you don't want it to be a prerequisite to publish that you have another job. I mean, if it's successful enough and things are going well enough that you're doing it through the books and paying the bills and paying the printing, that's great. But I would recommend not to put all your eggs in the basket of comics. Try to have something else going. But on the other side of this, unfortunately, I have seen some publishers kind of not fulfill and perhaps hightail it over at Indiegogo, or some other crowdfunding source, or even not fulfill, then being shamed into fulfilling, and then somehow doing another campaign and again being quite successful, perhaps due to their marketing abilities. So yeah, I feel like I kind of meandered a little away from the question, but that was my answer in as far as just having another avenue of income. I mean, comics are not usually going to be you're buying a lottery ticket. You're making your book, you're betting on yourself, and every once in a while there's a tick or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and it takes off. But with a lot of people buying a lottery ticket, some books don't pay off, and you have to have something going on to be able to, I guess, balance that out. If I was really looking to make purely just like financially, at one point I was like customizing action figures. That's probably even more lucrative than making comics, because there's a lot of figures that haven't been made and that people want to see made. So those custom figures were doing well, but that's not really where my heart was. It was in making comics, and you gotta just have a love of the craft and do it for that love.
Right.
Fair enough. Karissa, what are your thoughts?
I need a credit card. That's about it.
Now, what type of limit are we looking at?
Yeah. You guys don't want to know what I've spent so far. But yeah, I guess I obviously have another job. I am not looking to make a profit. Obviously, any profit I make will probably go to my artist. I just want to get them made because I want to read them. So I all I need is a credit card and passion, and I'm good to go. And I'm an incredibly lazy person. But when I'm fulfilling, I actually really like it. I'm sure I won't when I get, if I get more backers. But for now, I really like it. They're all
sorry to interrupt you. You've only been doing this for a year, right?
Yeah.
How many issues have you had out?
10.
And you consider yourself lazy?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
my artist is doing all the work.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Ask her how many podcasts has she done to promote this latest one.
This is my 134th.
There you go.
There you go.
9
Wow.
canceled. There would be more. 9
Damn.
forgot about me. I
She's so lazy. She's so
I had-
Still lazy.
You
Yeah.
loaf.
Wow.
I had
What a loaf.
Wow.
30 something set up for my 1 year, and 14 people forgot or
You
had
disgust
emergencies
me.
and couldn't do it. So,
I want to be that lazy.
so-
Understand?
huh?
No, Randy said he wants to be as lazy as you.
I wanna
don't
be
know
that
if you
lazy.
understand that.
There
I
you
agree
go.
with him. I
Well, okay, then I'm
We
not
all
lazy,
wanna
but
be
I
that
don't
lazy.
move a lot. I wrote 3 chapters on my couch in the last 2 days. So I guess only lazy in the fact that I don't get off my couch except for to work. So but yeah, I absolutely love it. I was really surprised. I liked the whole, everyone makes fun of me because I have a Kickstarter and 3 weeks later I have another one. They're like, we need like 3 months to decompress. I was gonna say decompose.
Get yourself an egg timer and stand up once an hour.
yeah.
Well,
Seriously.
I get all my book, like my stuff goes out the day my campaign ends, as soon as payments clear.
There you are.
And then any variants I get will go out like 5 days later. But everything gets gift wrapped before it goes out. And I usually get it out in 1 or 2 days. So I just kind of sit here for a couple hours and then have my husband drag them to the post office. It's like 4 trips to the post office. But yeah, I mean, all I have is a story, passion, and a credit card. So,
All right. Way to be.
CJ, that's how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ted, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how I would, if it was one thing that was the question, like what one thing do you need? Or-
No, whatever you think that you need in order to handle this indie comic life. If
Yeah,
it's
I
one
mean,
specific thing, if it's 5 specific things.
yeah.
We all want to know. We're all listening here to find out.
Well, I think
months.
everything you can do to make your issue 1 as great as you can, because that is the foundation from everything is going to be built upon it. You're going to be at conventions. People are going to try your first issue. If they don't like it, they're definitely not coming back for issue 2.
That's why I threw away $5,000.
There you go. Yeah,
I had to redo 1. I didn't like it. Got a new artist.
I
Spent
love
$5,000.
that. I mean, hats off. That is exactly what you've got to be. You got to be just
willing to do.
Yeah, and just ruthless with your own work. And if you can't be, then you got to have friends who, or colleagues who will be that voice for you to let you know, hey, this doesn't make sense, and this art is not professional looking, or whatever it is. And
Actually, they told me the opposite. They told me not to redo it. Like 15 people. I was trying to get advice. Do I need to redo this? No. Everyone has different artists. And finally, I was like, no, I'm gonna redo it. So, but yeah, standards are
that's
good.
great. You had the vision to make the right call. I mean, it sounds like you certainly did. And we all have blind spots as artists, as creators, and I work without an editor, really. I mean, like I said, my daughter's the assistant editor, but I have a lot of friends who proofread the stuff, and people who, like Jim Salicrup, who's the editor-in-chief at Marvel during McFarlane's run. He's a guy who will read my stuff and give me notes before I put it out there. And, anytime you give something to somebody, ask them to hammer you and assure them that you're not going to have your feelings hurt. And you got to be able to say that with truth, I'd rather you tell me straight up what's wrong with it than me put it out there and then everybody
Right.
it. So
I went to Peter David because he'll rip it apart. And I was like, be honest. He goes, you sure you want me to read this? I go, dude, you do what you got to do. You got to rip me. I got an iron jaw. Comes back the next day, throws the book at me. He goes, I read it. And I'm like, okay, toughen up. And he goes, I liked it. It's better than what most of the stuff out there. I said, what? He goes, I got no complaints. It's good. He goes, yeah. I go, Peter, do you have a fever? And I went to reach his 40. He goes, get away from me.
I was next to Jim Shooter at a show, and I said, man, I would love to get your take on Tap Dance Killer. He said, I will read it, but I got to warn you, I'm going to be honest. And you know, he gave me the quote that's on the back of the book here. I don't know if you can read it. If we can blow up on it.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Oh wow, it's finding water in the desert. That's great.
Yeah, that's a hell of a quote.
Very
He's
cool,
a 9
man.
foot tall man.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hold it up
Making
again.
thought again. There you
Dance
are.
Killer is like finding. Let me do it this way. Tap dance killer is like finding water in the desert.
Nice. All right, cool. Phil, what are your thoughts?
So obviously the money, you need to create, like Ted said earlier, you need the creative passion and desire because it's a roller coaster. And if you don't have that desire, you won't have the motivation for when it goes wrong, when it gets hard. Because a Kickstarter alone is a roller coaster. And I don't care what that number says, 4,000, 20,000. You've invested so much of your heart into this that when you go a day or two without a pledge, it rots your soul. It rips your heart out. It kills you.
Yeah.
So you got to have that. You have to have intestinal fortitude. You got to be tough. You got to be willing to take criticism. You got to be able to handle the trolls that are going to hate on you just because you're doing well. And you got to tune all that out because focus is the product, the book, the story, the quality, because that is your resume. I don't care what you think of your product. If it doesn't look pro, nobody gives a shit. And you have to take pride in the quality of the book. The other thing I would say is arm yourself with knowledge. Don't just walk into the industry thinking, oh, making comic books is fun. It is, but you're dealing with money. You're dealing with people's careers.
Yes.
The artist that you're paying, that's his career and his livelihood or hers. So it may be, even if it's a hobby to you, when you're dealing with money, it's a business. Learn it inside out, understand how it works, learn but the most important thing is don't just learn what to do and don't do, learn what the unwritten rules are. Because there are a lot of unwritten rules and you're going to offend people because you didn't do your homework and understand that that's not the right thing to do. You don't go into private DMs and that with people you've never talked to before and say, back my campaign or just drop a link because you're pissing people off. So arm yourself with knowledge, have the creative drive, be able to weather the storms. You've got to have an iron jaw. You have to take punches. And you have to understand that what you put on that paper says volumes about you in this industry. When you look at what Randy's doing with Russ, what do you think? Professional. When you look at everybody that's been on this panel, except for me, you say, you know what, these people are professional. The books look professional. They're taking seriousness into what they're doing. Those books can stand up to anyone on any rack in any LCS in the country because they took the pride and the professionalism in doing it. So that's what I would say. Don't listen to Phil. You don't know anything. No, I don't. You're right. My wife. Wait, is that my wife? Oh no, it's Carla. Sorry.
Yeah, Carlos is defending you.
But seriously, just don't go in blind and just toughen up because there's a lot of pansies in this industry that are making it high school. Pick up your pants.
Oh,
go
for you.
And drama is not going to get bigger sales in your books, so
Nope.
cut that crap out, okay? You're not EVS, all right? Go put in the work. Grind.
Very good.
Fair enough. Jeff?
Personally, I need my artist to never go do any other comic. But I would say as far as like the bigger picture and anyone getting into the game or whatever, the number one thing you need is a fucking audience. So, you need to know how to promote. You either need to have a built-in audience, something. You got to figure out a way to find people to read your book. Even coming on podcasts like this, stuff like that. Like you got to do everything you can. Like look at Karissa. She already did like 200 podcasts. Like that's how you got to do it. Like there's no other way. Like, so promotion is a big, big part of it. Because I know a lot of people are like, I put my Kickstarter up and I don't look at it, till it's over. And I'm like, well, that's not a very effective way to run a campaign.
Yeah,
but,
really.
That's your business. I guess that sounds like you're a tough guy or something. I don't know. But to me, that makes no sense. Why are you even wasting like your audience's time, that kind of thing? Like you're not even helping them get free stretch goals and stuff. Like you're not even helping your own backers. Like I don't know. So
It's
stuff
not
like
a
that.
George Foreman grill, right? You don't set
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's George Foreman. Yeah,
You set it
classic. But
and
yeah,
forget it. Yeah.
and that's the thing. So I think a big part of it is, a lot of people are I don't know what the word is for it, but a lot of people don't really appreciate their audience, I don't think, and that's a big thing. So like, when someone backs your comic, say thanks, stuff like that kind of stuff goes through. That's why they come back 4 times. That's why they come back 6 times, whatever. So like, yeah, if they're retweeting your stuff, say thanks, stuff like that. Even just like, send out, just a general message to anybody that's reading and watching and helping and just saying thanks. You know what I mean? Like, I think appreciating your audience is a big way of keeping your audience. You got to find all that stuff. So audience is the biggest thing to me in indie comics, because you don't got a publisher. You don't have anyone else doing this for you. So you better be ready to just dig in and, be nice too. You don't want to be a dick. Like, there's so many things, like, sometimes people will say something mean, like Phil said, you got to be ready for someone to come at you with some harsh criticism. And like, if you're not ready for that, you shouldn't be making art and sharing it with people in the first place. But then secondly, you got to know how to like react without looking like a dick to the other people that are seeing you react. You know what I mean? Because maybe the guy that talks shit to you, he's never going to read your book anyway, but everyone that's reading your tweets or whatever, they're going to judge how you react to that. So yeah, that's a big thing too. A lot of people like personally want to see how you act and stuff like that in this day and age with social media and everything. So, all those kinds of little things, you just got to, try not to be an asshole, try to be nice, that kind of thing. Share other comics. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people out there who will like start a campaign and then they won't like retweet other campaigns. They won't do cross promotion, stuff like that.
Right.
And like a big part of this game is, we're all in this together. Like Ted said earlier, like this isn't a competition between us. It's like all of us versus video games and all of us versus anything else out there. You know what I mean? Like indie comics, like we work together. Basically, we're all a big team when you think about it. So yeah, I just think that's a big part of it. Just the community aspect is a big part of independent anything.
This is true. Well, like I said, don't be like Jay. So what are you thinking, Jay?
I'm always in competition with you, Calderon. All right, plain and simple. Fuck that. Yeah,
that's why you always losing.
Any day of the week, goddamn.
Yeah, but you guys have that rivalry that people want to see continue. You know what I mean? It's like a Red Sox thing. Like
they just want to see me
more.
stomp the shit out of them.
By the way, your only competition is yourself to be better tomorrow than you were today. Like Ted had said earlier, there's enough for everybody. And if Ted succeeds, that just helps the industry that I'm trying to be a part of. It's a good thing if Ted succeeds. It's a good thing if Karissa succeeds or Jeff, or Dan. So
even like when we were talking about
them.
my bad. I was just gonna say, like, even when JD was saying, like, a lot of the traditional publishing comic creators have come to Kickstarter and stuff like that. Like, that's good too. They're bringing all these readers that never would have came, and so I think that's a big part of it. So just keep on spreading the word and help everyone else is. That's it.
Yeah.
So Jay, what your thoughts?
Yeah, you need patience. That's the one thing you need, I think. You need patience to learn your craft. You need patience to learn from your mistakes, right? You need patience to learn from others. You need patience to learn how to deal with your collaborators, because everybody works at different paces and they may have other jobs. So you got to learn to be patient and not be constantly badgering them to turn out a product. You need patience so you don't go crazy on your own right, because this is why the fuck did we choose comic books? You know what I mean? I mean, this whole industry is just wackadoo from the creative side to the business side.
Yep.
It's just like had we peeked behind the curtain of how many toothpicks are holding this whole industry up, I don't think we really would have went into this as soundly as we have.
And again, though, I think you're seeing the industry constantly evolving and changing. We're going this next year, we're going to see a huge change in this industry. That especially from everything that I've been reading, you're at the end of next month, you're going to see a big change in this industry.
Right.
That's really going to shake a lot of people up. You got to be ready for that. You really do.
I mean, I understand that. I do. But when I say it was held up by toothpicks, right? Even the supplementary information we were getting, Comicron was one guy, right? Tabulating all these sales charts for all of these years. Maybe he had one or two assistants there, but one person. That it wasn't coming from, the major factors that were putting this together. It was coming from one guy.
Yeah.
And once they changed the distribution model to whatever during the pandemic, right? That's gone now. That's gone. So it's to us it's a major industry, right? But we don't have sales numbers out there. We don't. Stuff that's a fucking toothpick that got flung off.
I think the major question is, do we really need those numbers?
Yeah.
Or do we just need our own numbers?
Yeah, we do.
You know,
we
our
do.
bottom lines. We need to know who's doing what and how they're doing it,
Well,
so
they're
that we
gonna be
can follow
vacuums that
their
have to be
example and
filled.
hopefully learn from their mistakes.
But vacuums are gonna form that have to be filled by someone. Why
Yes.
not us? And the big two are floundering right now. They're still king, but they're not the king on the throne they used to be. And they've alienated a lot of longtime readers, right? But those readers don't want to stop reading comics. They just want to stop reading that crap. So
Right.
if we continue to put out quality stuff and be professional and show them we're not just booby books and we're not subpar art, we will gain those readers when the bubble bursts. It burst in the 90s, and what saved them was the readers. Those readers have been alienated. So when this bubble bursts with all of the dealer variant retailer guys and all the variant covers and all the nonsense, the readers aren't there to save them. Those guys are going to have to deal with some major changes, and the indie scene is going to start coming up more. You're already seeing Diamond is, because they lost so many big accounts, are taking way more people at low print runs that they would have never taken in the 90s. They're taking people with 800 print runs and 1,000 print runs that would have never happened because they need to somehow fill in that void that they just created after being in a monopoly for so many years.
Yeah.
And this is our opportunity.
I want to touch on what you said there, Phil. You know, they're not buying that crap, but they're buying. I don't want to say our crap, but they're buying our stuff, right? Because you had over 300 campaigns running last month on Kickstarter alone. If the money wasn't being spent there, people would not be starting projects there. Okay.
But here's the thing, though.
They're
You can
spending
get a
money.
book for $5 in an LCS. You have to pay $15 on Kickstarter because of the expenses we have. I know a lot of people tell me I'm wrong, but distribution has to be restructured for us to succeed, and we have to go to distribution because a
You're not
great
wrong.
Kickstarter is 300 backers. A shitty distribution is 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't build momentum every 3 months you're doing a new campaign. You can't.
Right.
But if you're in a monthly comic book going every month, like I'll give you an example, Source Point Press and all of them, you never see, like, they're doing well, but you never see them growing. They're not popping up. You know why? Because their business model is playing it so safe that they never do ongoing series. It's always 5-issue graphic novel, 5-issue, 5-issue. You're starting over each time. But when you have a monthly ongoing, if you can weather the storm after issue 1, where you're going to have that dip 2, 3, and 4, you can start making that snowball become a boulder because you're building momentum, because people see that you are there. You're not going away. And if you have the character that's interesting and you have good writing and they see you on that shelf every month, that's how you build a following. That's how you get noticed. That's how you start getting picked up by Bleeding Cool and all these media guys that won't pay any mind to a Kickstarter campaign, but they will to an LCS shops, thing. I always say, if they don't know you, make them know you. But you have to be able to hit the largest audience possible, and distribution will get you in 2,200 stores, and even a crappy run. Even if you got to 10,000 a month on your book, you can survive and sustain your company on 10,000 issues a month. It's not unattainable, but you have to weather the storm in the beginning of distribution because it's going to be hard. You might lose money, but if you can weather that storm, I really think you're going to come out on the other side better than crowdfunding. You could do both, of course, but I really think distribution is going to be retooled in the future. It's not lasting this way.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Sorry, I know I went off.
No, that's fine. Listen, I mean, that's an interesting subject. One day, probably the few of us can get together and discuss that, because I agree with you to a degree.
Oh, yeah, I think you're dead on.
Because the thing is another model is the way Mike Mignola built his Mignolaverse, and it was a 4-issue limited series, but it was like BPRD, Hellboy, and it was all within that sphere.
But he already had a history of being an Alpha Flight artist and other things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, of
he
course.
already had a fan base. He wasn't coming from ground zero.
No, but there was also I forgot his name.
No, but
who's
he
the guy
was
who-
also resetting the volumes and not numbering them in sequence, right? So it wasn't
right.
Hellboy Volume 1, Hellboy 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, right? It was 2 or 3 issue mini, a 2 issue
Right.
mini, right? And it was all Hellboy subtitled. So he had he was able to stave off the fatigue, right? Of people constantly every month having to buy it and getting
Right.
something new out of it and building up the
Randy, who's the guy who created Elf Lord? I forgot. I always forget his name.
Oh yeah, now you're gonna test me on that.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. See,
No.
I thought you remember. Anyway, but he had a
I've got
system
his
where
book around
he
here
would
somewhere.
every 4 issues he would relaunch his book. He would
Mhm.
reissue it as a number 1.
Oh yeah.
And he would do that just to pop his sales with a number
Mhm.
1. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter if it was like in the middle of a story. He would just reissue a number 1 with.
But
with
how is
issue
that
number
working
4.
for Marvel and DC? People are getting tired of it.
Well, this was back in the
Listen, but the
80s
thing-
as well.
right, this was
There's
back in
been
the 80s, right.
40 years worth of the gimmicks and the variant stuff
Right.
happened.
They probably got it from him.
No,
You know?
I can tell you where they got the variant cover from, but that's a whole nother story. For another
Exactly.
time.
All right. So listen,
Anyway.
I mean, I think for myself, for the question is, I think determination is the key. If you're gonna do it, you got to be determined. You have to be in it to really be in it. I mean, you got to be like dogged. I mean, just
Barry
just
Blair?
you have your Barry Blair. Yes, that's what his name. But you have to be like that junkyard dog with that bone in his mouth. You're just not gonna let go. And I think that is the biggest key. If you're gonna do it and be determined to do it and to finish your story. You understand? And I think that's the key thing, because we see too many books come out and they don't finish. At least get that first arc done, at least get it done to a point where it's finished and you can tie it up. I can't even tell you how many books I've seen from Image, right? How many books do we see from these creators who come out of Marvel and DC?
Mhm.
Go to Image, they start a book, they get 3 or 4 issues in, maybe they'll get 1 trade out, maybe 2, and the story just disappears.
Right.
These guys, because they just can't continue. They just don't have the sales, which is a shame.
That's probably another story for another time, or
Yes.
perhaps even off camera.
Right.
But, yeah.
So Randy, what are your thoughts?
I think the big thing is tenacity and adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, especially with the alternatives and the independent markets, with this crowdfunding, this great crowdfunding. I was out of comics for about 10 years. I sat and did my own local comics paper around here and had so much more fun than having to deal with Diamond and having to deal with the direct market, quote unquote. The direct market is not really the direct market anymore. It's
Right.
crowdfunding is the direct market. There's so much misverbiage here. The mainstream is not the mainstream anymore. The mainstream is Scholastic. It's the manga shelf at the Barnes and Noble.
Yep.
That's hitting the mainstream.
Mhm.
We need to figure out how we can do that and cash in on that. And for so long, and I've seen this ever since I got into comics, so many people put these blinders on that you have to do it this way. You have to go through Diamond. You have to be a certain size. You have to fit a bag. You have to be able to have a backing board and fit into a box or whatever.
Mhm.
And with us being in the alternative and independent market, we need to start stepping out of that box and taking a look and seeing what everybody else is doing, because there's people out there that are making profit. They might not be necessarily making livings, but they're making profit doing things outside that box. And there's too many. I think I said on this program a few months back, I still think there's another method of distribution that's right around the corner that's going to hit a lot larger market than what the so-called direct distributors are hitting now. Somebody's going to figure it out. Somebody's going to start it up, because this art form is so resilient and is so, it's a form of communication literally like no other. Where can you sit in your basement and have a single viewpoint and draw if you want to draw, or learn how to draw if you want to draw, learn how to write if you want to write, and say your piece and have a product out there that you can be really proud of. And there's nothing like having a physical comic come into your hand that you've worked on, you've done, you've sweated over. It's like your kid.
Yep.
It's like a child of yours. It gets into the blood, and you realize usually at the first book, Am I going to do this the rest of my life? Or is this just, kind of okay, but I'd rather sell real estate, or whatever, as an example.
I don't have your bell, but ding, ding, motherfucker.
Yeah, get in and get on it. That's the big thing. It's time for us to be creative. It's time for us to be alternative, and it's time for us to really be independent and get out there and figure out where we're going. Is it digital? Who knows? Is it physical? More than likely. How does it look? It's not going to look like this. This is over.
Right.
This is gone. Mm-hmm. I have this rack back here because I loved it. That's what I grew up on. That's what I cut my teeth. Comics saved me. And when they were doing that hashtag, comics broke me. Comics saved me off of this rack. That's why I love this rack. But that rack isn't sustainable anymore. Crowdfunding sustainable. Crowdfunding you can make a profit on, but there's going to be another level of distribution, whether it's a newspaper with just newsprint on it, because I was really successful at that for a couple of years until the Flint water crisis hit. I was doing Flint Comics and Entertainment. I was moving 10,000 units just about every month and getting maybe 100 or 200 back that I was giving away at shows. And it was a great amount of fun. I can't express to you. It really reinstilled the love of comics in me. But you've got to be open-minded and go out there and look at the other avenues. And you have to, everybody that's making money out there is making money for a reason. There's an explanation. There's a reason they're making profit. We need to figure that out and then figure out how you can apply it in your own way. Brian Polito did a video on this years ago. Just after Lady Death started kicking out. This is how I'm doing it. This is just what I'm doing. You can figure out your way too, and let's make a profit. Let's boom this art form. The possibilities are out there. And it's up to us to find it, because the big corporations, quite frankly, just don't care.
They're playing it safe. They just keep using the same old mold.
They don't know anything else. They've got them blinders. That's all they want to do. Either that or they want to tear it apart, deconstruction, whatever, and that's not the way to sustain an audience. The way you sustain an audience is to entertain them and to make them happy and to want them to come back for another one. Not to go, oh, well, that was really depressing. Okay. It's kind of why Watchmen was only 12 issues and should have only been 12 issues. There we are. Thank you, Art Victim. Thank you very much.
All right. So, lady and gentlemen, we reached the 2-hour mark, so it's time to go. Phil, where can they find you and your work, sir?
So the website is www.philboentertainment.com. You can go to Kickstarter. You'll find me there all the time. We have like 12 titles coming next year from other people that I publish, as well as my own stuff. On Facebook, you can go to Phil Russert, where I do most of my news, because Facebook kills business pages. But you could also go to Philbo Publishing on Facebook. But go to Phil Russert. That's the best way to go. Same with or Phillip Russert. And on Instagram, it's Phil Russert. That's where you get the best news from me, the most interaction. And Facebook isn't burying the hell out of me.
All right, cool. Jeff, where can they find you and your work, sir?
I mean, right now we got the Kickstarter campaign for another 11 days. Just type in Magic Powder. But also, if you just want to go through me, go to getmagicpowder.com. And you'll be able to find everything, all the issues, Elf with No Name, all that digital, physical, whatever you need. That's pretty much it. I'm also a Jeff Schiller on every social media there is. So just hit me up.
All right, cool. Randy?
You can find me on the Indy Comics Network and the Randy Zim YouTube channel and the Comic Book Black Belt YouTube channel 2 times a week. Sunday Funnies and Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and Comics by Night, which is Friday morning at 5 a.m., where we go over some great stuff, sequential art by some of the great artists, masters. Let's sit there and talk about it and let the conversation wander. Usually Glenn Fleming is there, Russ Leach is there, and a whole host of other people. Anybody that wants to get up that early, I'm more than willing to have them join the group and let us look at this great stuff. My stuff you can find at aerocomics.store, where you can find books like Calico Ashard and Paragon, which is a great superhero story I love, with a great twist ending. And my own, the character I do mostly myself, which is Hero Bot Zero. There's 2 issues of that available up there as well. The Fool campaign is it's still up at Fund My Comic, but it's mostly done. We're fulfilling it now. We have books in hand. Chrome Dog is finally done, so the bundle, the Arrow Comics bundle, will be able to go out that The Fool was a part of. So I can't wait to get this all fulfilled so I can get on to my next campaign. You can look for the Shadow Kingdom at russleach.com. And right now, you can find my articles over on Comics Unlimited magazine, where I write about comics history and just have fun, or over at the Indy Comics Network, where we podcast over there. So, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Listen, guys, anytime. But Dan, where can they find you and your work?
Yeah, on Facebook, Dan Sehn, right over here. Yep. And Argo Comics and Argo Comics Thunder Zone. So those are 3 accounts on Facebook. At Dan Sehn on Instagram, at Argo Comics, one word, on Twitter, Argo Comics, one word, on YouTube, and an Indie Planet. If you search Argo, you'll get most of my titles. There's Argo 5, number 43. So all the back issues are at Indie Planet. And on Kickstarter, if you just search Dragon Manx, that's like Dragon Man with an X at the end, you'll find our newest Kickstarter. Those books will not be going to Indie Planet. I'm just going to keep Thunder Zone in Kickstarter for the time being. But that's where I'm at.
All right, cool. Karissa?
I am on Kickstarter almost constantly. So just search Worthy Chaos, pops up. Issue 8's already in pre-launch, and the Kickstarter currently for the hardcover has 11 more days. And it ends next Friday, and the books will probably go out that day. And you can find me on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, Worthy Chaos Redemption. You can find me on Twitter at Worthy_Chaos. And I don't know, just search Worthy Chaos. I'll pop up.
Nice. Ted, where can they find you and your work, sir?
All right. So Hero Tomorrow Comics is our site at herotomorrow.com. But Cleveland Superhero, our whole thing takes place in Cleveland. So clevelandsuperhero.com actually takes you right to our Kickstarter page, where we are doing issue 3 of Punchline. Again, he's a heavyweight boxer, becomes a superpowered murderous clown, and the vaudevillains. And they're going up against our new villain from Mexico, Violante the Undead. So that is, we've got a bunch of, Violante exclusive covers on the campaign page. So yeah, Hero Tomorrow on social media, Facebook or Instagram, and Ted Sikora also. But yeah, immediately I would love it if anybody would just go to clevelandsuperhero.com and check out the campaign.
Nice.
All right, cool. Mr. Rosario, where can they find you, sir?
UnstoppableComics.com. You can find all of my information, all of my social media links at UnstoppableComics.com.
All right, cool. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those places on the JD Calderon. You can find me on theoswaldchronicles.com and talltalesonline.com, but primarily, kind of like Krista, on Kickstarter with theoswaldchronicles.com. And just remember, everybody, all of these campaigns by all these fantastic creators is in the show notes. So you can go to the show notes, click on those links, buy these books. These creators all deserve your help and your support. And even better, don't just support them. Get those books. Read those books. Tell people about those books.
Yep.
Right? Buy more comics. Buy more indie comics, especially ours. Thank you, guys. And have a good night. Oh, and don't forget, no show next weekend. We'll be back on December 3rd. All right?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.